Kalin Kessler, easily one of the most interesting characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Some would say his actions were justified, but Yusei didn't see it the same way. Today we'll be discussing the rise, fall, and redemption of Kalin Kessler. Kalin was the leader of the Enforcers, a group which included Yusei Fudo, Crow Hogan, and Jack Atlas. He fought to give his team hope in the dire conditions of the satellite, and at this point in the series he cares a great deal for his team, and they're pretty much everything to him. We see this in action when Yusei is pushed off a roof and Kalin is the one that manages to save him. This team was so strong that they managed to conquer all of the zones in Satellite, but after Kalin gets in a fight with the kid from Team Insect, Crow and Jack go against him and leave the team. When Sector Security started arresting duelists in Satellite, Kalin decided to blow up a part of the security base, seeming happy that he had done it, but this prompted Yusei to leave the team as well. This caused Kalin to become obsessed with ruling Satellite, hoping that he could reunite his group for their final duel against Sector Security. Kalin was pursued by Sector Security, but his former teammates came to the rescue. Neither Crow, Jack, or Yusei thought they had any chance of defeating Sector Security, which caused Kalin to confront a security guard on a duel runner and drove through a stack of crates. This severely injured the guard, and Kalin seemed intent on finishing him off, which is when Yusei intervened. Yusei left Kalin in a room and tried to convince Sector Security that he was the leader of the Enforcers, so that he might take the blame instead of Kalin. Kalin was found and arrested for injuring a guard, and one of the security members already figured out that he was the leader. When Yusei tried to refute this and convince them that he was the leader, Kalin saw him speaking to security and believed that Yusei had set him up. Then Kalin attempts to fight him and is held back by security and arrested. Kalin felt betrayed, abandoned. When he needed his friends more than ever, he believed that they turned on him, and even though he didn't know the truth, what he believed was enough to set him down a dark path and would now suffer in the facility. It's important to mention that Kalin's core values do revolve around his relationship with his closest friends. He believed that they could accomplish anything together, and he relied heavily on their support. He also shared a great connection with his deck and the cards that he used. This would be important because now he's in the facility, a place where everyone is painfully marked to show that they're a criminal. Kalin's time in the facility was far from easy. The prison guards constantly beat him up and intentionally withheld his food, starving him. He claimed that he could survive the abuse, but he started losing hope after his deck was taken, since this was his most prized possession. After this, Kalin was seen in a cell, near death from starvation, when a voice called out to him, naming itself a messenger from beyond the twilight, who came to him with a proposition. If Kalin had some sort of unfinished business, he could come back and complete it as a dark signer. And Kalin did have unfinished business, particularly with Yusei, so he took the deal. He dies from starvation and is reborn as a dark signer, and after this manages to escape prison and join up with the other dark signers. As a dark signer, Kalin manages to reunite Yusei, Crow, and Jack, along with himself, reuniting the Enforcers. He intercepts the three of them and directly takes on Yusei in a shadow turbo duel. Kalin dominates their clash as Yusei tries to understand why Kalin has turned out this way. Yusei trying to plead with him is pointless, as Kalin is only focused on beating him now. It seems like Yusei may have some hope after he brings out Stardust Dragon, but then Kalin reveals his Earthbound Immortal, and as his monster attacks, Yusei's duel runner breaks down and the duel is over. Now, although technically the result of this duel is a no contest, and the only reason I believed it turned out this way is because if Yusei lost, he would be dead. Regardless, Kalin is satisfied with what he's done, and he tells Yusei to suffer the same pain that he did. When Kalin returned to the headquarters of the Dark Signers, Roman asks him why he didn't kill Yusei, and Kalin says he would have done it if all Dark Signers were present. He also claimed he would let Yusei live in fear after he witnessed the power of his Earthbound Immortal. When it comes time for Yusei and Kalin's rematch, Kalin claims that this would be the Enforcer's last duel, and once again it seems that he's taken the upper hand, bringing out his 100-eyed dragon. After Yusei manages to destroy this monster, Kalin reveals all of the things that happened to him as a prisoner in the facility, how he was starved and beaten. Kalin said that by accepting his fate he could return to show Yusei the fear that he had felt at that time, intending to do this through his Earthbound Immortal. although this time Yusei manages to evade the monster's assault, although the monster begins to destroy the ground where the duel was taking place, and Kalin even seemed to struggle with this. Yusei offers Kalin his hand, which was reflective of the time where Kalin risked his life to save Yusei, but Kalin wasn't interested in Yusei's help, saying it was too late and completely pointless. And following this, Yusei summons his majestic star dragon and takes down the earthbound immortal. Kalin loses and makes peace with Yusei, revealing to him that he had another purpose besides revenge when he transformed into a dark signer, that being he wanted to carry out the Enforcer's last duel, and with that, Kalin fades into dust. However, when Rex Goodwin was defeated in the final battle, and the king of the Netherworld was destroyed, Kalin returned to life along with the other dark signers, besides Roman and Goodwin. When it comes to his whereabouts, Luna claims that he went on a trip. The place he is currently residing is a place called Crash Town, a place which when Yusei arrives, talks to an individual named Barbara, who told Yusei that Kalin had come to this town to die. The town is full of gangs, and Kalin is seen dueling a member of another gang, led by Malcolm, and after winning that duel, Yusei tried to talk to him, but he gave no reply and rode off with Radley's gang. At this point, Kalin has no purpose, no reason to live, and his sense of right and wrong is gone. Kalin still feels immense guilt for his actions as a dark signer, and challenges Yusei to a duel, hoping that when he is defeated by him, he can die in the mountain, and the result of this duel is a victory for Yusei. But because of Barbara being a secret member of Malcolm's gang, both Yusei and Kalin are taken to the mountains, along with Radley since Kalin was associated with his gang. In the mountains, they work as slaves, but Yusei refuses to put up with the punishment despite Kalin accepting his fate. After trying to convince Kalin to escape, Yusei realizes that he simply refuses, so he knocks Kalin unconscious with a punch to the stomach, taking Kalin and escaping, and while on the way running into Nico and West, two kids from Crash Town. However, soon after, Lawton and Malcolm's gang members found them. Yusei went and turbo-dueled Lawton while Kalin was running away with Nico and West. Kalin manages to steal a duel runner from one of the members of Malcolm's gang and used it to get to Yusei. Lawton threw dynamite at them which caused the mine to collapse, leaving Kalin and Yusei in a crevice, and Nico and West to be taken as hostages. After visiting the graves of those who went to the mountain, Kalin vows to fight for those either still working in it or those who had lost their lives because of it, promising to himself that he'll save Nico and West and calling himself a death god. To the shock of Lawton and everybody else, Kalin and Yusei engaged in a 2 versus 1 duel with Lawton, which upon their victory would free the town from his rule. Although it seemed the duel was coming to an end, Lawton's men interrupted, proceeding to stop Yusei and Kalin. However, they have a change of heart and decide to hold back. Feeling betrayed, Lawton and Barbara attempt to make a final getaway but are stopped by Jack and Crow. Panicking, Lawton detonates the explosives in the city, creating a diversion, allowing Kalin to give chase on Yusei's duel runner and catching up with him in order to finish his last turn. Lawton, knowing his top card was a spell that would render Kalin's Infernity Doomslinger useless, agreed to finish the duel, but Kalin then uses the effect of Infernity Climber to draw this card instead of his spell, using the effect of Infernity Doomslinger to finish the duel and finish off Lawton. After all this, Kalin stays in the town to watch over its reconstruction, take care of Nico and West, and rename Crash Town Satisfaction Town. With newfound purpose, the redemption of Kalin Kessler is complete. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to make sure you don't miss another one, and let me know in the comments what your favorite part of Kalin's story was.